We need natural and technological solutions to become a very sustainable and green civilization to hinder cataclysmic changes. High innovation regarding climate and the environment is flourishing during times of crisis. Funding new inventions and great projects are the easy part. Everyone and every nation want to tackle climate change and environmental problems. The Earth's natural environment has been altered severely after the Industrial Revolution until now. People have done everything to grow economically without considering the natural balance nourishing all life forms. It's getting more difficult to keep the planet in its pristine condition where there is no global warming, pollution, or ecological breakdown. Some nations are betting on natural solutions, some tech companies and corporations are backing technological innovation. Both natural and technological resolutions are requisite to reverse existential crises. Destroying the largest forests will only impoverish humans in the long run. The largest forest ecosystems of any kind manage rainfall, weather patterns also house a great level of biodiversity. Of course, everyone has to be hopeful about the future. Staying positive is crucial to making positive changes in society and the planet. There won't be any other planet like the Earth ever again. This is the most livable and beautiful one that humans can abide. Technological solutions like carbon capture are needed as much as reforestation projects to sequester more carbon and uphold vulnerable ecosystems. Native forest ecosystems should be protected and augmented to cover cities where people live. There are myriads of ways to tackle climate change and all of them make a difference. Manufacturing, construction, and power generation, also animal agriculture are some of the biggest greenhouse gas emitters. They exhaust resources exponentially as well. More people have to work in green jobs that are devised to deal with climate and ecological predicaments. Mass manufacturing of countless products packaged in plastics is detrimental to the planet's existence. Manufacturing has to be converted to natural diverse productions that are upholding the environment and forests with no emissions. Global emissions are tremendously high. It will be challenging for every nation to reach net zero emissions. Challenging times and goals are what make society evolve rapidly. There are billions of people in the world, they all need things to survive and live comfortably. Keep doing the same thing over and over again and living in comfort can be unproductive after some time. Food, water, and other provisions may be scarce soon if cataclysmic events harm the planet. You can see that energy as in electricity form is one of the most significant aspects of modern society. It's impossible to run cities and businesses when there are power outages. For that reason, new energy sources are needed to reach net zero goals, also to operate during weather variations that will be more common from now on. Over 2 degrees temperature rise may be locked in, and this would precipitate many disastrous events every year. There has to be a way to completely stabilize the planet and increase its resilient productions. Everything that people do make and consume might have to become carbon negative and eco-friendly soon enough. Plant-based productions tend to be more eco-friendly than oil and meat-based counterparts. More businesses must go vegan, plant-based, to reduce their impact on the environment, forests, and animals. Palm oil, which is in pretty much so many products, has been causing deforestation as much as animal agriculture. Some vegetable-based products are not eco-friendly as most people assume. Palm oil is an example of this. People have been consuming the planet increasingly for the sake of economic growth and expansion. This may be one of the worst routes for any civilization to evolve. A level of technology and industrial manufacturing is necessary, but excessive growth and consumption will only destroy the planet and impoverish the masses. Sustainability is the most important aspect for a civilization to secure its future and existence. Hopefully, new clean energy sources like nuclear fusion can mimic the sun, which is the most abundant energy source, in order to power civilization efficiently. Artificial photosynthesis can provide various resources for vertical farms that can be contained underground or in disaster-proof buildings. A green movement has started globally, and it seems like it will progress consistently. Cities that emit the most greenhouse gases and consume the most resources are going greener each day. Some nations are embracing extreme eco-friendliness in every field of business and legislation. It's not just climate change that's the existential threat for all living beings, there are many other threats out there. Some warn about an alien threat operating secretly around the world. All of the threats will magnify if the planet deteriorates and warms up faster. Everyone has to remain positive so good things can be done. Being negative or judgmental won't solve anything. Life requires a lot. Plant-based movements and innovation have created a path for civilization to follow. The Earth's biodiversity is immensely rich, so it shouldn't be too difficult to establish a very sustainable, green economic and societal system. The planet can be cooled down gradually, and seasonal temperatures can remain the same every year. Forest coverage and emissions are critical during this process. There will always be some extraordinary weather events, nevertheless forest cover can shield cities from getting flooded and spoiled. Forests can be designed as production fields to supply the needs of many industries and the city population. Nobody is saying everyone has to live in rural areas. Cities can be as sustainable, green, and ecological as places near wilderness. It's possible that the human body can generate enough energy to charge some gadgets like solar panels. The human body is a generator, and it never stops running. You wouldn't need to charge your smartphone at night, your body would provide enough charge throughout the day and night. Humans have to manage their livelihoods in symbiosis with nature and the planet. Some companies are making clothes out of seaweed and other sustainable materials. There is incredible innovation arising during the pandemic and climate change era. Perhaps, in a couple of decades, global warming may be a thing of the past. Algae-based technologies can be in every household, generating feed, energy, and oxygen out of thin air by absorbing carbon dioxide trapped in the house. People don't realize that running the AC or fan won't provide any oxygen indoors. Opening the windows can break the AC unit. There are people who adorn their houses and apartments with multitudinous plants inhaling CO2, exhaling oxygen all day long. Plant-based innovation is so promising because plants can do pretty much anything and they already provide materials for many industries. Everyone would love to live in a rainforest city powered by an artificial sun and other clean energies. New charge stations are being set up all over the world and anyone will be able to tour around entire continents in an electric car or maybe a flying car soon. Green innovation can be extremely futuristic, probably more than alien technologies. The Earth consists of magnificent biodiverse habitats. There are still many trees, plants, seeds, edibles that are undiscovered. Plants altogether can boost every industry and nation. Fusing plant chemicals into solar panels has increasing efficiency significantly. Plants are biological versions of solar panels emulating leaves technologically. Technology will resemble plant life more and more. One day, artificial photosynthesis can render many technologies, energies, and inventions sustainably. Cities can emerge as carbon dioxide inhaling, oxygen exhaling biospheres with great abundance and infrastructure. Life is always changing, but climate change isn't good, right? Everybody is thinking about how to reverse climate change so we won't go extinct through cataclysms. Technology by itself would never save the world nor humanity. It's only a tool to get things done. Of course, an adequate level of technology is requisite to get many things done and communicate with others. One person cannot do that much, the whole world population can pretty much accomplish anything. Climate change and disasters have the power to unite humanity as one super force to safeguard their planetary existence with great knowledge and synergy. When you find good information that can make a difference, share it with the world. Information is needed to secure the planet's future. Humans should stop being consumers and rank up as saviors of this beautiful living system. A plant-based era has dawned upon the cosmos. Some entrepreneurs have found a technique to grow meat out of thin air through fermentation. This procedure has been developed by space agencies to grow meat in space for astronauts. Space innovation has discovered many breakthroughs and inventions that can help to build a more sustainable and green civilization. Nobody knew meat and animal products were contributing to climate change and deforestation significantly a few decades ago. Now protein products are created through fermentation with CO2 in the air. These new plant-based products can easily replace unsustainable foods and products in the global market. Human civilization has to shift as extremely sustainable, green, and ecological in order to overcome cataclysmic events triggered by environmental changes. Nature consists of myriads of plant species, that's why a plant-based civilization can be way more resilient than capitalist and consumer economic systems. Now there are ways to create meat alternatives out of thin air with microbes. Many foods have been produced with fermentation until now. Fake meat can be life-saving for billions of animals and massive tracts of forests. The economic system is changing every day. Innovation must be the number one goal to establish a better, more equal, environmentally friendly, and climate-positive society. Many nations are attempting to turning their deserts into green, fertile landscapes. Solar energy can assist in building eco-villages in deserted areas. Well-planned eco-villages and permaculture farms can bring life back to communities in need. Solar isn't the only renewable energy to help the world reach net zero or recover from poverty with ecological improvements. Green hydrogen can go head-to-head with electricity as a new power source. Climate innovation will bring forth many new sources of energy and futuristic technologies as of now. The hydrogen fuel cell systems can compete in the electric car market, which will be one of the biggest industries of all time. Charging stations are being cast all over, so it will easier for anyone their emissions with an electric car or a hydrogen-fueled car soon. Hydrogen can power other transport on wheels like bikes, skateboards, golf carts, etc. Urban gardens are crucial to conserving bees and butterflies. Many people have started gardening and farming. Growing your own food can be very fulfilling, also life-saving. Plant-based meats can be grown in vertical farms as well. Vertical farms are the futuristic way of growing food with fewer resources than large-scale farming. If global warming destroys farming, underground vertical farms will be the only way to grow food for a lot of people. Greenhouses can grow anything year-round, even in freezing temperatures. Ecological civilizations can be better for the planet and all life than economic ones that generate industrial devastation and overuse. With new energy sources being implemented, the world's famous cities are getting more futuristic and climate positive every year. Any type of carbon emitter and destructive industry will be obsolete in a few decades. Microalgae farms can grow superfood indoors. Algae can be a very nutritious superfood if it's grown the right way. Everyone may have a bioreactor in their homes that can generate pretty much anything. People can be energy generators and producers rather than consumers that generate waste and contribute to climate change. Everything about human beings is supposed to upgrade in order to be able to prevent more calamities. Some researchers suggest that the global community must improve ecologically every year. A lot has been done for economic and technological growth, not much has been considered for the well-being of the planet. The well is shrinking rapidly. Natural resources used to be abundant and renewable in the past, not anymore. If nuclear fusion is perfect, every city may have an artificial sun to provide the energy. Fusion can also propel any type of transport at high speed. Solar technology isn't efficient enough. Best solar panels only harness around 20% of sunlight. Solar energy technologies have to improve every year and generate more energy to replace their emitter counterparts. Carbon dioxide removal is necessary to eliminate trapped greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is very profitable when it's harvested and stored. It's used to make many products. Carbonated drinks are the largest beverage market. Too bad they're filled into plastic bottles. The largest plastic polluters are planning to replace plastic bottles with paper that can be recycled easier. Carbon emissions have to restricted to below zero, otherwise, the surplus of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere will never be removed. Smartphone cases are already being made with plant-based and biodegradable materials. The plethora of plastics can be eliminated to introduce a very green, ecological society across the planet. All nations are required to cooperate so they could achieve net zero goals and environmental progress. Climate innovation can forcefully institute the biggest research and development fields that are tech-related, also natural enhancements. The most populated areas can be redesigned as polyculture forest ecosystems so they can reach below zero emissions faster. Soon robots will do most of the laborious tasks. Urban, suburban, and rural areas can be regreened, reforested, and farmed with artificial intelligence. Robots can charge themselves and their autonomous intelligence will update frequently. If global warming is permanent, the Earth can be transformed into a global tropical rainforest to preserve its life support. A global rainforest can organically produce everything that humans and other creatures need to survive and grow. Climate changes have forced mass extinctions and altered the planet's environment in the past. Perhaps, a global, very sustainable mixed production ecosystem covering all nations and cities can be the only way to survive and increase harvest to be used by manufacturing. Oceans are the best places for carbon absorption. There is enormous space over the oceans to grow plants like seaweed, algae, coral, and other water-based plants that can take in more carbon dioxide than all forests combined. Oceans can be climate change-resistant surfaces when they're embedded with large areas of water farms. Coral reefs are like rainforests of the oceans. They must be protected since warming temperatures and pollution cause bleaching. Some organizations and institutions are growing new corals to implant into large coral reef systems to revive and preserve them. Marine life relies on coral reefs and healthy oceans. A lot of species are going extinct in the oceans. Coral reefs must be revitalized before they completely die out. It's easier to grow plants and start farms on the sea and ocean. There is no need for fertilizers, soil, seeds, lands, or any other investment to start a seaweed farm. Seaweed is making its way into a lot of products. Seaweed is being introduced to lithium batteries to increase efficiency, like chemicals from hot pepper embed into solar panels. Plant-based ingredients and materials will always improve efficiency and performance in many ways. One day, all technologies can become completely plant-based and renewable. Waste from tech is enlarging every year. Most of the waste in landfills never decomposes. A lot of precious metals in tech products are dumped with no return. Somehow, metals and other materials used to manufacture tech devices and electronics can be grown in farms and extracted endlessly. All of the metal and mineral deposits will deplete one day. There has to be a way to produce them without harming the environment and ruining habitats. Plant-based innovation is changing the planet and increasing sustainability exponentially. More and more companies are choosing to switch to eco-friendly and environmentally safe to be able to cancel their impact on the planet. Climate change won't go away if all companies and nations make the switch to reach carbon negativity. Most of the destructive industries emit the most carbon. Consequently, you can survey what's bad for the environment and what's contributing to climate change from carbon emissions. Carbon emissions can be a thing of the past to clear the path for an extremely ecological and planetary enhancing civilization. The richest and most influential countries are the greenest ones. The environment and forests generally boost the well-being of their surroundings. Some of the deserted regions are going to be engineered with new ecological projects and technologies. Some scientists and researchers are working on how to turn deserts into fertile oases. Water is essential to all life forms. Dry soil cannot retain water for vegetation to grow and feed the fauna. Oceans are as important as forests, cities, and water reservoirs. Water desalination plants may be crucial to keeping dry soil and regions as fertile as possible. Plant-based industries can be emission-free and can possibly undertake global warming and excess greenhouse gas emissions. There is a great possibility that ecological, sustainably plant-based civilizations are way more advanced than technologically ambitious ones. Humans have little time to choose in between the two to either deplete their planet's resources or regenerate its renewable assets. More and more people could work on ecological projects during times of crisis so upcoming disasters can be impeded beforehand. Planting mangrove forests near the coasts can prevent floods and sea level rise damage. Some companies are switching to paper and recyclable packaging to remove plastics from their production chain. New eco-utopias can be established in deserts to incrementally bring life back to dry zones. Instead of building bigger, wider shopping malls, massive mall-size greenhouses can absorb carbon, produce and market many eco-friendly products. Mall-size greenhouses could reduce large cities' carbon emissions significantly and turn carbon dioxide removal into many organic and green products. Large metropolises will always be the most carbon emitters and economically active provinces. For this reason, they must be completely revamped to be able to tackle climate and environmental debacles. Hopefully, every business and household will install clean energy and some type of bioreactor to overturn their emissions and waste. Gas, oil, and their byproducts are still necessary to run society. The only way to ditch them out of the global economy is for the largest gas, oil, and other energy corporations to invest in and develop new clean energy technologies. An ecological civilization run by the green and climate-positive economic system can be more lucrative for the whole. New clean energies and green inventions will transform the planet into its rapidly evolving and futuristic phase. Otherworldly, biophilic utopias are being planned and built in many places of the globe. Everything is energy and humans require more energy than all other creatures. Thus energy innovation will play a very big role in prospective developments. Rainforests condense their own rainfall, thereby rainforest cities wouldn't demand any watering or maintenance for prolific self-growth. We can build the most efficient, planet-friendly, productive rainforest civilization and integrate green energy and technologies for utmost unity and consolidation. The planet should never deplete and its forest and indigenous ecosystems should never get ravaged. That's why the industries that provoke environmental devastation and warming should be regulated strictly by all administrations. It's all supply the demand all over the world. People need things, services, energy, food, clothing, and so much more to survive and live comfortably. To supply all of these at a global scale requires a tremendous amount of raw materials derived from the natural world. At first, the Industrial Revolution was the best thing ever. It provided everything that people have today. Nobody knew it would drive the planet into a cataclysmic state of no return. All companies are mandated to pledge to stop destroying and polluting nature, then revise their business designs to benefit the environment. Every household is compelled to change their habits and mindset to erase their carbon and environmental impact. There is only one world where people can live. It must be protected and preserved in its pristine conditions at all costs. A circular economy can solve a lot of the recycling and waste problems bothering all nations. Pollution has been tormenting every city and country more or less. Factory farming and animal agriculture have bred the recent plagues, and they will beget more of them because the demand is increasing in parallel to the population surge. Human beings can be ecological saviors if they discern and identify how they impact the environment and climate, then make the change. Seaweed will be one of the biggest industries because it's so versatile that a lot of useful things and biofuels can be made from it. Seaweed grows so fast, it can be farmed at a large scale to feed the population during droughts and famines. It seems like there will be more disasters and farming can be ruined one day. Oceans are as important as forests and other lands. There is tons of space in and over the oceans to grow food, build solar and wind farms and establish hydropower. Oceans will play a bigger role in reversing climate change in case they can be utilized properly. Every resource and industry can be used to oppose climate and environmental oscillations. Organic sectors can be more effective than technological solutions and enterprises. Technology is very helpful. It can merge with organic innovation and operations to build a way more sustainable and green civilization. All life forms are types of organisms, including humans. Plant organisms can feed animals, also stabilize climate and the environment. The earth can be transformed into a dynamic, lush heavenly realm with correct adaptation to greater eco-sufficiency. A lot of companies are starting to use sustainable materials in their productions, some even turn trash and waste into new products. The largest corporations can be more influential and lead the path to planetary cleanup and regeneration. Every product and fruit sold can plant new orchards, gardens, farms, eco-forests producing greater yields than before. What people do ignites a chain reaction over the globe's ecosphere every time. You need to be more careful about your environmental impact. Everything people do affect the environment each and every day. More and more people should research and identify what people are doing wrong and what can be done about planetary protection individually and collectively. Then the public can be educated about their individual and general impact on the climate and the planet's living natural resources. Algae-based coral biofarms can generate feed, energy, biofuels, also intake carbon in every household and business. There are tons of new technologies in development to tackle climate change and recover the planet as soon as possible. Not just technology or carbon capture, everything about the human race is supposed to change for the benefit of the planet's regeneration. Human civilization can be extremely ecological, carbon negative, and united to deal with all of the imperils, either alien, climate, environmental, or between tribes. Natural resources are the most significant capital that provides life to all living beings, including human society. They're endangered and threatened by industrial devastation, pollution, and consumption. It's not just climate change, there are so many other menaces. Most of these threats to human existence have been unknown until the pandemic. People thought economic growth, expansion, and waste was the best thing to do. This planet has to maintain its naturally rich, pristine shape. Polyculture can rejuvenate declining cities and fields of business. Manufacturing is easier and more sustainable with diverse plant farming. Switching to plant-based of the majority can create more regenerative fields all across the world without animal agriculture. There are people who planted very large forests single-handedly. Plant-based lifestyles with less waste and plastics can generate a terraform effect upon the earth. Some green projects like reforestation didn't work out well. Millions of trees have died due to lack of rainfall. It takes some time for planted trees to become self-sufficient. Green projects can increase the self-sufficiency of the world population. A lot of people left cities to start permaculture homesteads, and some of them succeeded. Gardening may not provide the income of a full-time job, but planting as much as you can is still one of the best things to do for anyone. People spend a lot on tech devices that aren't as good as renewable green resources. Investing is very critical to thriving in life. There are so many new startups and companies to invest in, and some of them are plant-based, vegan, and work on products and projects to save the environment and animals. What people buy and consume affects the environment heavily. The world population is speedily reaching 8 billion, 10 billion isn't too far ahead. Pollution, births, waste have surged during the pandemic. Survival instincts make people do what they do to survive even more than before. Life is about survival, yet it's better to devote yourself to a higher purpose of planetary recovery. Everything people do either harms the planet and all life or assists all life forms. Awareness about the impact of product choices, diets, waste, packaging, emissions, and other issues will be conveyed to the public to raise their understanding. The planet's natural environment is what houses and sustains the human population. Natural resources like forests, jungles, and other rich habitats uphold the existence of all creatures unique to Earth. Destroying the richest habitats like the largest temperate, tropical, boreal forests plus ocean ecosystems will only destabilize the life balance nourishing all life forms and human beings. Every human being is being called to live as ecological as possible through continuous study, research, cooperation, and dedication. Some people who have great success in many fields of business have plunged into farmers' lives. Businesses are trying to reach net zero, then carbon negativity. Achieving net zero goals globally will be challenging for every nation and business. We will see more natural solutions embraced by the largest corporations. Natural, technological, and global solutions are crucial to eradicating global warming once and for all to inaugurate a planetary safe civilization. Methane is the most potent greenhouse gas, and it warms up the planet faster than carbon dioxide. Other greenhouse gases like nitrous oxide and methane are more dominant than CO2 are more difficult to break down and sequester. Carbon capture targets carbon dioxide trapped in the atmosphere. New carbon capture technologies should be able to remove all kinds of greenhouse gases. Farming still emits tons of gases, and it's one of the biggest contributors to climate change. Farming can be converted to polyculture and agroforestry to create natural carbon capture plants across large fields. That's why natural solutions might be more effective than innovative tech solutions that add up to tech pollution and ecosystem collapse from mining. Mining destroys ecosystems as much as other industries. Demand for metals is uprising to supply the productions of batteries, solar panels, wind turbines, electric cars, and construction. There has to be some way to hinder all kinds of environmental and climate-related adversities permanently. The environment and forest cover have the power of regenerating themselves without human interference. Yet humans can still improve the environment's natural reproduction and propagation to assimilate carbon and gases from the air. Nature will always be the most evolved organism. It's calling humans to go back to their roots. Most of the world population used to live in harmony with nature in the past. Everything they used, consumed, made was harvested from their surroundings with fewer emissions and diminution. There is a type of plant to make pretty much anything, so plants must be cultivated and used for all industries diversely. Sustainability of the civilization should be the #1 goal for all nations. The cheap oil-based economy and profits didn't really benefit the planet nor many people. The regenerative green economy may be more expensive, nevertheless, it can raise wages and benefit the environment to procure a green future. Plants and water will always be the greatest resources that mankind will ever need. Technologies can be made of plants and metals extracted from them in the future. Mining that supplies clean energy manufacturing has to be harmless for ecosystems and forests as well. The complete switch to plant-based manufacturing can bring forth many innovative and sustainable technologies and energy systems. Artificial photosynthesis is still in development. It can produce great alternatives to energy, materials, manufacturing, and tech. That's why more research and development are needed in plant-based fields of tech, manufacturing, and energy generation. Nature encircling the planet consists of a terrific diversity of plants. Solar panels infused with plant chemicals had higher efficiency. Hence solar panels and even wind turbines, maybe other renewable energy machinery can be made out of plant elements. The sixth element of the future is probably the biodiversity of plants grown in a polyculture setting, enriching the soil and the environment continuously. The future can be more futuristic and beneficial with green technologies made of a sustainable, regenerative workflow. Nobody knew green movements would unravel very futuristic and satisfactory prospects unlike the tumultuous epochs of history. Innovation is so fast that shoes and cases are made of plants now. This is what's called the green era in innovation that may never cease. Some rural areas have experienced great growth with solar farms built near water reservoirs, rivers, deserts, and wilderness. Villagers can harness the energy generated by solar farms, and renewable energies have boosted their livelihood and turned them into growing eco-villages. Any place in the world, even vast deserts, is being transformed into productive oases by introducing clean energy, vegetation, and water flow. Renewable energies, carbon-negative farming, and rich vegetation are collaborating to revolutionize current cities and countryside into prolific jungle paradises. Incorporating a useful level of technology is necessary for every place people abide. Renewable, clean energies are planned to deliver green growth and regenerative developments to places unreached in the past. The world population needs ever-increasing green growth powered by renewables and rainforest productions. New rainforests can be cultivated near urban, suburban areas all across the world to soak in carbon into various industries. Buildings are becoming more botanical and organic every year. Some architects build high-rise structures resembling rich rainforests. Rainforests are in grave danger, they may turn into savanna or monoculture soon. That's why people might have to cultivate new temperate and tropical forest ecosystems where people can live in bamboo edifices surrounded by orchards, trees, greenhouse shopping centers. Society may have to dig underground cavern cities to shelter from cataclysmic events. Bunkers would be very boring. There are some massive cavern systems with their own climate, vegetation, and rainfall that exist for thousands of years. People can live in large cavern systems constructed underground, incorporating diverse productions and renewables. This would be similar to subsurface Mars colonies. Scientists are trying to figure out how to grow plants and farm in Mars soil and ambience. A lot of nations are attempting to convert their deserts into farming fields that can break down greenhouse gases. Once greenhouse gases are separated and stored, they can be very useful for many industries. Carbon dioxide itself is a very valuable gas used in many products and productions. Fungi can be grown into pretty much anything. Building blocks made of fungi are as solid as concrete. New types of concrete can store carbon dioxide in it rather than emitting it. Carbon removal is introducing a new type of global market. Any new inventions planned to resolve climate change and environmental decline can receive enough funding to be manufactured and employed worldwide. A highly ecological civilization powered by green innovation, clean energy, and sustainable productions will have the chance to preserve its homeworld's self-sufficiency equally, then transcend all alien races that come to Earth with secret agendas. It's obvious that most of the alien races and associations traveling to Earth are only after the coveted assets unique to planet Earth, including humans. The Earth is still in grave danger. Threats will never cease with a few changes in industrial emissions and impotent improvements. All industries, cities, and prospective planning can emulate rainforests to increase efficiency and resilience, also to put an end to climate crises. Rainforests are the most lively and resilient regions, housing a great level of biodiversity. Some of the rainforests have been planted over the course of a long time by the indigenous dwellers as a food forest. It's best to focus on climate change now and somehow mitigate disastrous events and remove greenhouse gases out of the atmosphere. Planting billions of trees and regreening the earth would take a while, and natural disasters would only intensify. Every nation is required to consolidate with all others and relinquish unnecessary animosities and conflicts in order to resolve existential matters. More and more companies are adjusting to the needs of the environment and organizing to save the environment and stop pollution. Compostable and biodegradable products and packaging are crucial to ending pollution and waste. The world must be united to become an advanced civilization, also to counter existential threats and resist any type of extraterrestrial invasions now and in the future. Larger, more potent empires may approach the Earth when they detect it. It's been coveted by many space organizations trying to gain access to rare resources valuable in the space trade. Depleting the planet will make human society very vulnerable in the universe. There are basically aliens everywhere searching for new worlds and new riches. That's why the planet's most resilient areas can be protected, augmented, and replicated in many other places as well as cities. Eco-friendly and plant-based productions will supersede current polluting and eco-destructive sectors of business and manufacturing. Never-ending conflicts and miscommunication between ethnic groups, countries, and corporations ought to be renounced. Competition isn't productive in the long run for any enterprise or society. Extreme competition in any field will only exhaust the planet's fragile and finite natural world. The environment can be enriched to a point to benefit the whole world population equitably. Of course, consumption, pollution, population, and environmental destruction must be severely restricted to build a more reliable and secure future. Planet Earth is so beautiful and rich that a lot of alien races want this as their own. Humans have to restore the planet as soon as possible rather than consuming it into extinction. Every state and community is incrementally reducing its pollution levels. Pollution and waste are one of the biggest issues of modern industrial civilization. Global green growth can decrease pollution and waste significantly. That's why every country is supposed to switch all their industries and cities into systems of perpetual green growth and development. Research and developments were mostly fixed on technology and engineering in the past. This department is moving towards breakthrough energy and green improvements to undertake climate change now. Weather patterns are changing very fast, climate events are unpredictable. Hurricane and typhoon seasons are prolonged than in previous years, so there is a possibility of more exacerbated hurricanes, typhoons, floods, storms every year. Reaching net zero goals may not halt global warming by any means, a few decades is far ahead. Many places across the globe have been experiencing severe droughts or flooding in different seasons. Global temperatures have to remain steady every year to preserve the environment in its intact condition. More extreme droughts, floods, storms, and instability would ruin the fertility of the entire continents and food production as well as water reservoirs. The largest forests still manage rainfall patterns and purify the largest river flows. That's why protecting the forest cover and supplementing it will always be the most critical task to reinforce civilization. The sustainability of all continents depends on forest cover and protection. As opposed to farming monoculture over large tracts, new forest farm systems can be designed and cultivated that are carbon negative and climate positive. Plant-based industries play a critical role because they will have the capital and expertise to build new forest production systems for sustainable harvests. Plant-based innovation has just begun. It will bring forth many breakthroughs and environmentally friendly, cruelty-free products into the global market. The ecological and innovative civilization will discover many new clean and free energies to power itself without harming its home world. Food foresting can be implemented into park spaces within urban and suburban areas to teach people and nourish them. Many ecological, plant-based alien civilizations may approach the Earth if people mature, cooperate, and safeguard their homeworld's biosphere. There is evidence that space is packed with intelligent alien civilizations, many of them not far from this solar system. That's why strengthening the planet's rich and biodiverse environment is crucial for the future of humanity and all species. There were climate changes, mass extinctions in the ancient past, and the Earth has recovered. The problem is there are deceptive forces all over the world operating secretly to take advantage and exploit a weakening human society. Industrial overexploitation has altered the planet into a decaying arena, and it has to be recovered and salvaged at full speed. Some construction companies are designing green buildings and complexes that can absorb carbon dioxide and curb air pollution in large metropolises. Eventually, buildings and urban districts will emulate farming that can even provide food, water, and other resources abundantly. Wind turbines are evolving every year. Inventors are tweaking wind turbine models to be more efficient and work with little or no wind. That way, more efficient wind turbines can be installed anywhere to produce free energy year-round.